What's happening, YouTube? Kivy-Tut-4 displaying our Ifconfig output to our label to our graphical user interface. Okay, I hope you guys are enjoying the tutorials and thank you for the support. I really appreciate it. Alright, so let's get down to business. Okay, so if we pick up from where we left off from last time. Alright, we laid the foundation for our app, our tool. Okay, so now what we need to do is we need to import some of the widgets that we're going to use in the tool. Alright, so if any of you guys have seen the audio recorder tutorials that I made, this is how we do it. Alright, so we just assign a variable to our liking to the widget. Alright, so self.ifaceName will be the text input. Okay. It does help if you just assign the same name to the same variable, but you can do what you like. You can call it blueberry muffins or pink elephants or whatever you like. Obviously it's going to make it a bit tougher to work out, but I do advise that you name it the same thing. Right, so here we go. Then we've got the label here, which we're going to need. And we do a device label. Okay, and what's next? Let's do the entire box just in case we want to do anything with that. If in doubt, just add the widget. I don't think we're going to use this in this tutorial, but we may do later on. And what's left? Let's add the scroll view, which is called nodes. Okay, we will be using this in the next tutorial. Alright, this is what's going to display our all the nodes on our network. Okay, once it's scanned. So all we have to do is define the Ifconfig function, like so. And if you guys watch the overview tutorial, as you can see in the top right hand corner, this is the reason why I made the tutorial. Okay, just to prep you guys for this function. Alright, I hope you guys did some practice out there, all the beginners out there. Okay, so let's just write a comment now. And what do we want to do? We want to assign a variable to the subprocess.checkOutput, which is going to run the ifconfig command in Linux. Alright, so that we can get our interface information. So we just do subprocess.checkOutput ifconfig. Now the second argument is going to be the text from our text input. Okay, this will give the user a bit more versatility, so that it can actually specify the interface they want to use, and so connect to the network that they want to use. Alright, so we're going to do a self and then the name of the text input, which is ifaceName, and then .text, and it's as simple as that. Alright, and what we want to do now is just name our variables that are going to store the information. So we've got self.iface and my IP, and then self.mac, and then self.blueberry muffin. What blueberry muffins on the mind? I might go and get one. Bcast and netmask. Okay, everything looks good there. And IPv6. Okay. Alright, so we do an ifconfig. Let's put a self before that. So it's exactly the same as the overview video. Okay, it's the same code. Alright, it's just that we're putting it into a function. Alright, so we do I for I in. And then we just use the indexes from before. Okay. And that should be good. Once again, thanks for the support, guys. I really appreciate it. Okay, hope you guys are enjoying it. I hope the tutorials are clear. If there's anything that's a bit fuzzy, just let me know. Self.device label.text. Okay, so the text of the label obviously is going to display the output, but we're not just going to put some boring output there. Alright, so this is the reason that we put the markup equals true onto the label up above in the Kivy language, or the KV file, or the KV language. Alright, we want to format it. It's a lot like HTML. We just put it in brackets here, so we've got color, which is going to be green, italic, bold, and we put my device. I encourage you guys to play around with this, design it as you want. Okay, use your imaginations. I'm sure there's some great imaginations out there. Alright, you're all creators. Alright, so do something unique. Yeah. Alright, come up with something new. Alright, so bold, italic color. Yeah. Let's get rid of that. New line, new line. Let's neaten that up a bit. Okay, and we want the interface, which is going to be the first line. Right, let's run that, see what happens. And it actually helps to assign the function to the button. Yeah. So let's do that. Obviously, we're going to press the button, nothing's going to happen. Why? Because Python's saying, well, it's not actually saying anything, it's just saying, I don't know what you want me to do. So let's do an on release for the button to call the function that we've just defined, which is root dot run ifconfig, and that should be good, hopefully. Lovely. Alright, so we've got my device interface. It's as easy as that. Okay, so all we have to do is just fill in the other variables. So let's do it, man. Color equals green with zeros, not O's. Right, for you beginners out there, like things that put people off, like I'm talking about the actual beginners, you know, they want to start coding or whatever. Things that put people off are things like this. Alright, do not get confused, okay? Do not get discouraged. Alright, if you get a bit confused, alright, it's perfectly normal. Okay, the brackets and the zero is just a placeholder for the variable, okay? It's nothing special. You don't have to be a mathematical genius, alright, to do this. Okay, anybody can do this, trust me. Just keep trying, okay? The brackets and the zero is just a placeholder for the variable. So self.iface, okay, you can just literally just put self.iface in the brackets, alright, but we have to do this to format the variable with the color and the italic, so forth. Okay, so just do that, and what we're going to do is IP, and then just copy. We're going to copy and paste just to make things a bit easier. Okay, and all we have to do is change the fields. But remember, there's one thing that you guys have to remember: the output of the Ifconfig. Okay, I'm going to leave it a couple of seconds. I'm just going to fill these fields out. I'm going to let you guys think. Alright, that there's something that we have to do here so that we can get the output that we need. Alright, and also there's a reason I'm not putting the code in the descriptions. Okay, this is to force you, well, not to force you, but to encourage you guys to follow along with the tutorials, okay, rather than just downloading the code and using it, because you're not going to learn like that. Alright, it's a lot better just to follow along. so you understand a bit better. Okay, so what are we missing for the output? Well, we have to index certain variables because the output, say for my IP, is going to output ADDR and then colon and then the IP. So we have to index it from just the IP address. So as we did in the overview first tutorial, we just do 5 colon. So it's just from the 5th character to the end, and then 6, and then I believe that's 5 as well. So we do a 5. Okay. Now I could have laid this out a bit better for you guys, but I'll leave that to you. Okay. And that's that. Hopefully. Let's just sort this out here and get rid of the IP at the end. And that looks great. Okay. Now you'll notice something. The output is not what we want. Why? Well, because the interface is not connected to any network. So let me try this with a wireless. Let me connect my wireless up. And this is the reason why we've got the text input as well. We can put WLAN 0, which I know is connected. Okay, and if we run that, looking good. Yeah? Okay. That's it. Thanks for watching. The next tutorial will be adding some dummy nodes to our scroll view and get some scrolling action. Yeah. Thank you very much for the support. Okay. I appreciate it a lot. If you like the video, subscribe and hit the thumbs up. Keep coding, keep being awesome. See ya.